Hello, good afternoon. My name is Niekerk. I'm responsible in Kelvion for the hydrogen and new energy business. And I would like to talk a bit about central cooling systems for green hydrogen production. In green hydrogen production, the process is electrolysis. This can be PEM electrolysis or alkaline electrolysis, like shown on this slide. What you see here in the electrolysis process, there are various heat exchangers. So these are often plate and frame heat exchangers. Our company also provides those, but that is not the topic of the presentation right now. But all these plate heat exchangers will be using a cooling medium. There's only a certain size of electrolysis stack that you can build. So if you have a large-scale hydrogen production plant, you repeat this module many, many times. And the result is that you have a big plant that has dozens and dozens of users of cooling medium. These use either water or a water glycol. And this whole stream of water glycol, will be cooled with a central cooling system. And that is what we also take care of within Kelvion. So that can be done with air-fin coolers, which is a dry cooling solution, or you can use a cooling tower. So I would like to explain when to use what and how to make this selection. So, like I said, we are especially interested at the large scale, so 100 megawatt or bigger. If you have an electrolysis plant of 100 megawatts, then you also need to cool away roughly 35 megawatts. So at the beginning of the life, the electrolysis is still very efficient, so then the heat load is lower, but at the end of the life, you are using 45% of cooling capacity. Another aspect that is not always available in each production plant, but that is also the liquefaction of the hydrogen. This is also a very energy consuming part where you also need to dissipate a lot of heat. So the result is that you have to cool away a lot of heat. So what are the considerations when you select a cooling system? One question will be, is there water available in the first place to do cooling? What is the plot space what you can use? What is the cost of the power that you would need to run fans? What is the cost of water that you would use? So those are all considerations which are important for a project when to make a selection on what type of cooling to use. We can also put that more into a decision tree or a logic diagram. So one question could be, is there water available? If there's no water available at all, then you have to go to dry cooling. But if there is water available, then the next question is, okay, how much? Do you have any limitations in water availability? If there is no limitations, then a cooling tower is always the smallest and also lowest cost solution that you can choose. So then you would have to go for cooling towers. But if there is a limitation of water, then there are also some choices that you can choose between. So you can, for instance, go for adiabatic cooling solution, or you can go for something that we call cascade cooling. And that's a combination of dry cooling and cooling tower. And what is the best choice between those is a question which is not so easy to answer, because quite a list of parameters will play a role there. Capex, electrical consumption, do you have plot space limitations? But that is where we would like to help you and consider for each and every project what is the best solution. So if you look at cascade solution, for instance, cascade cooling, there is a winter loop and there is a summer loop. So during the winter, when the ambient temperatures are very low, you can run completely by dry cooling. But in the summer, when the temperatures are much higher, then you would also add the cooling tower. And the advantage of this solution is that you are not always using a cooling tower, so you can really reduce as much as possible the amount of water that you use throughout the year. The other solution is adiabatic cooling. And one way that can be done is by spraying a very fine mist of water below the bundle of the air fin cooler. So the idea is that all the water is evaporated before the airstream goes into the bundle. And by that evaporation, you are reducing the air temperature. And how much it is reducing the air temperature, of course, depends on the local conditions. What is the relative humidity, etc. But it's very usual that you can suppress the temperature of the air by 8, 9, 10 degrees before you go into the air fin cooler. And that helps you in reaching the temperatures that you need, or it can help you very much on reducing the size of the air fin cooler. And this is also a system that does not have to run all year around. When the ambient temperatures are very low, you will not switch on the pumps that spray this water. And in the summer peak times, that is where you use this water spray. So let's dive into one of the cases that we worked on. We had a case in California where the first question was, is there a water restriction? Yes, there is a water restriction. What is the ambient peak temperature that we have to design for? Well, you have to design for a 39 degrees ambient temperature. And what cooling medium temperature do you want to reach? 38. That's not possible with pure dry cooling. We have to do something. We have to go either for adiabatic or for cascade cooling. And then we started to work on that case and to make the comparison between the two solutions. So this is what we did. So there was one solution which was an air fin cooler with the spray system underneath. There was a certain plot area of 110 by 18.3 meters. But you can also see that the water consumption was 120,000 cubic meters a year. And there was also a quite high electrical consumption. And then if you see in the other column, where we have the adiabatic cooling, which is the dry cooling with the cooling tower, then you see that the plot space goes up, but the water consumption goes down a lot, 25%. Also, the electrical consumption of all the fans is also going down with minus 18%. But the capex, the installation cost, is going up. And this is the type of studies that we do for clients. So we download all the weather data from ASHRAE databases, and we make this full analysis for the whole year of power and water consumption. And we also said, hey, maybe we can even go one step further. Can we even reduce the water amount even further? So the first column is the column of the last slide, and then we add a second column where we reduce the water even further. So we increase the plot plan a bit, but we can reduce the water consumption with another 34%. Of course, it comes with a price tag. But here you can see that depending on what are the drivers for your project, we can optimize what is important for you. And to keep it simple, we did not throw in also the price of the water, but all those considerations you can also throw in the equation. And we normally collaboratively with the client do these analysis. So for each project, we can make a slide like this, where you can compare all the different solutions that there exist. Dry cooling, adiabatic spray, adiabatic with pads, that is also a possibility. Complete cooling tower, or this cascade solution. And this is an example for typical weather conditions in Northern Europe, but you can make such a slide for each and every location in the world. And it is not always necessarily that the cascade solution is the solution. In some cases you say, no, I can better take adiabatic cooling, but there are many different solutions to consider. So we combine two very established products. We have a long track record in dry cooling. We have a long track record in large-scale cooling towers, and we combine that together. And then, in co-creation with the clients, we like to come to a good solution for your project. And that gives me still a couple of minutes to answer potential questions. So if you are working on a project, or maybe you have any questions about how the cooling can best be done. Then thanks a lot for your attention.